can!
It's almost!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get this show started. On the show today, what changes can be expected in the Indian men's 11 that takes on England in that second test at Birmingham? Senior hand Ravindra Jadeja is under fire. So is the pace battery that may be without the services of Jasprit Bumrah for this one. Staying with cricket, West Indies cricketers are crying foul for the horde of umpiring howlers that occurred in that first test against Australia, resulting in them losing that match. But anyone who's spoken out has been penalised. Where does the fault lie? And Inter Miami crashes out of the Club World Cup, bringing Messi's presence in the tournament to a halt. The superstar was trolled online for the loss, but how hard will FIFA be hit by Messi's absence? And what did this win do for their opponents on the night, PSG? But first, a look at the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with basketball, Jordan refused to play Israel at the FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup. This is in protest of the ongoing war in Gaza. Following Jordan's refusal, the match was forfeited in favor of Israel. Reports say Jordanian Federation had sent an official request to FIBA not to play the match owing to their principles. On to NBA. LeBron James will continue to play for Los Angeles Lakers in the next season. The 40-year-old will exercise his $52.6 million option to stay on at the club. With this, LeBron will become the first NBA player to play in 23 seasons, and he's just 50 shy of breaking Robert Parrish's NBA record of most matches played. In Formula One, McLaren is back in the driver's seat with a 1-2 finish at the Austrian Grand Prix. After the heartbreak in Canada, Lando Norris won the race and his teammate Oscar Piastri finished second. Piastri is still at the top of the driver's standings with a 15-point advantage over Norris. McLaren now have a 207-point advantage over Ferrari in the constructors' standings. Over in badminton, Indian shuttler Ayush Shetty notched up his first BWF World Tour title. The 20-year-old won the men's US Open with a straight games win over Brian Yang. In the women's event, 16-year-old Tanvi Sharma showed great fight but ended up as runners-up. Sharma lost to Biwing Zhang 11-21, 21-16, 10-21. News from women's cricket. India hammered England in the first T20 international by 97 runs. Put into bat first, India scored 210. Captain Smriti Mandhana led the charge, her maiden ton in this format. In response, England were bowled out for 113. Star of that innings was Nallapureddy Charani, who picked up 4 wickets in her debut T20 game. And in UFC, Ilia Topuria has been crowned the lightweight champion. The Spaniard beat Charles Oliveira to claim his first title in the category. The Brazilian was knocked out in the first round. With the win, Topuria has maintained his 100% win record in mixed martial arts. The buzz around the second test is palpable. India and England clash at Birmingham starting 2nd July, and while the team has been in relaxed spirits, with certain members even celebrating the T20 World Cup win anniversary at the hotel, there are still a lot of questions surrounding what tweaks, what changes need to be made to ensure the series is level at the end of this second test. And one of the very pertinent questions is surrounding this man here, Ravindra Jadeja, one of the most experienced players in the ranks there. He's played the most number of games compared to the others in the squad. And while Jadeja's experience is invaluable, there are many questions being raised on whether he merits a presence in this Indian playing 11 when it comes to the second test. And it is rather ironic and unfortunate that there is much chatter going about his inclusion, because Jadeja's contribution and performance, especially in England against England, is rather unforgettable. That dreadful series in 2014 that India lost had a big silver lining, and that was Jadeja. Standing tall with bat and ball, the sword-like celebrations against a James Anderson-led potent attack memorable. Yet here we are with questions being raised on whether India should persist with Jadeja, especially after his very modest returns in the first test. Former Aussie cricketer Brad Haddin says Shubman Gill, the skipper here, the young captain in charge, must make a bold move and get in someone like Kuldeep instead of Jadeja for that next test.
Are we seeing the decline of Ravindra Jadeja? I mean, yes, he is effective in Indian conditions, but I don't think he is the best option to have in the team spin-wise. I think they need to be more attacking, be willing to lose a test match with some inexperienced bowlers, but change their mindset on the way they go about it.
This, of course, comes after heavy criticism that Jadeja had generated during that first test, in fact, during the second innings in particular, for not bowling into that rough that had been created on day 5.
Jadeja was bowling straight and not into the rough, and that baffles me. For a man with so much experience, he must know what it means to bowl in the rough. What Duckett did was just played with Jadeja and Shubman Gill, saying no matter where you put the field, I'm going to play that shot.
Jadeja proved to be ineffective at Leeds, and that only added on to that pressure, especially when none of the other pacers were creating enough impact to support what Jasprit Bumrah was doing at the other end. A matter that is already fueling a lot of talk, from his workload management to what other fast bowlers were failing to do to who is most likely to come in, considering there are reports of Bumrah missing that test in Birmingham. The Indian management, in fact, is already getting a lot of flack for the way Bumrah has been handled, whether it is managing his workload outside of an important 5-test series or the way they have publicly spoken about the Bumrah puzzle, his availability. Either ways, India has many questions to answer here as they gear up to take England on in the hopes of a resounding fight back in this series. Have they cracked the right balance yet? They picked Shardul Thakur in the 11 as a bowling all-rounder. Has he delivered to their expectations? Did that make a dent at all? If not, do they decide to get Nitish Reddy in? Then will they be willing to sacrifice Jadeja as they have a solid extra batting hand and get in Kuldeep to bring in those attacking overs? Or get someone like a Washington Sundar, but then that leaves them with that bowling combination or where to proceed with that. Very important, who will lead the pace charge in Bumrah's absence if he does sit out of this one? A lot of the way India plays the second test will come from tackling these questions and getting the right fit for the void that was witnessed in certain areas at Leeds. West Indies cricket may not be the powerhouse it once was, but every time they face Australia, something shifts. The fire reignites, and in the first test, we saw that. A thrilling match, but one that was marred by controversies. The Windies gave it everything, but still came up short. Yes, Australia were better in key moments, but the West Indies camp believes it wasn't just cricket that outdid them. It was the umpiring. Multiple contentious decisions went against the hosts, and they didn't hold back in calling them out. And now they are paying the price for criticizing it. But before we get to that, into the aftermath, let's rewind and tell you how it all unfolded. The match kicked off with the WTC finalists on the back foot. West Indies pacers turned back the clock, bowling out Australia for just 180. Jayden Sales grabbed 5, Shamar Joseph took 4. Australia looked rattled. But the West Indies reply, far from ideal. Down to 72 for 5, they needed a rescue act desperately, and up stepped captain Roston Chase and keeper batter Shai Hope. A gritty 67-run stand steadied the innings. Then, of course, the turning point. First, Roston Chase given out LBW by the third umpire. Replay suggested a possible inside edge. 2 overs later, Shai Hope caught behind. A screamer by Alex Carey, but did he catch it clean? Replays clearly showed otherwise, but the decision stood. 2 set batters gone just like that. West Indies were eventually bowled out for 190. Australia then, of course, piled on 310 in their second innings, and the match just slipped away. Post-match, it wasn't the scoreline making all the noise, it was the fury.
You're out there playing to win, giving it your all, and it seems like everyone is against you. Me and Shai Hope were going well, and then we had some questionable calls that really set us back in terms of creating a big lead on the total that Australia set.
When there's doubt in something, just be consistent across the board. From the images that we are seeing, the decisions are not fair enough for both teams. I just want fairness.
Coach Darren Sammy demanded fairness. Captain Roston Chase went a step further, questioning the lack of accountability.
It's frustrating because as players, when we mess up, when we get out of line, we are penalized harshly. But the officials, nothing ever happens to them. They just have a wrong and life just goes on.
And it wasn't just those two decisions we showed you a while earlier. There were many more errors, and mostly from a referral from the third umpire's chair. Sammy was fined, in fact, 15% of his match fee and handed a demerit point too for these observations. So now the question, why is the ICC quick to penalize criticism and dissent in the form of dissent, but slow to acknowledge officiating errors that probably impacted and affected the course and outcome of a match, a result that is crucial in this WTC cycle? Because make no mistake, this was a classic test match overshadowed by umpiring howlers. And if these persist, even with all the tech at our disposal, what does it say about the standards of umpiring? Yes, calling out officials isn't ideal, but when it comes to fairness, shouldn't the ICC listen before it punishes? Because this West Indies team, they're not just fighting their opponents. They're fighting a broken system, from financial struggles to their own players ditching tests for T20 leagues everywhere. West Indies cricket is on edge, but this squad is trying to change that.
I want to dedicate myself to play a lot of test cricket, a lot of ODI for West Indies. It doesn't matter how much, and I'll repeat this again, it doesn't matter how much it takes. As long as West Indies have cricket, I will always make myself available. Because I think West Indies cricket get us to all these leagues and all these things. So this is where it starts, so this is where you have to come back. This is the mother earth for us.
As a player, you're out there giving your all and then nothing is going your way. It breaks a lot of momentum. You're talking about guys' careers. One bad decision could make or break a guy's career.
Despite the loss, West Indies have made a statement. They feel robbed. They're fired up. And now the second test isn't just about cricket anymore. It's revenge. All eyes will be on how that pans out, though. And if players are judged under a microscope, why shouldn't the officials too? The fire's been lit, and the Windies, they're coming for a fight. The PSG versus Inter Miami clash had it all. Drama, feuds, controversy, a legend facing his former club, and a crowning moment for a marquee coach. It was a one-sided thriller ending 4-0 in favour of Paris Saint-Germain, breathing life into an otherwise underwhelming FIFA Club World Cup. But with Lionel Messi's Inter Miami now knocked out, is FIFA's dream tournament about to crash too? Ever since this edition of the Club World Cup was announced, FIFA sold it as Messi's tournament. Let's not kid ourselves. Inter Miami didn't exactly qualify by merit. FIFA bent the rules to bring Messi's side in. Why? Quite simple. They needed a global icon to boost the numbers. Because in the US, where football is still fighting for attention, only one man can truly pack the stadiums, and that's Lionel Messi. His arrival in the MLS brought record crowds, record views, and unprecedented buzz. So yes, FIFA wanted Messi and Inter Miami to do that for the Club World Cup, go deep into this tournament. But fate and football had other plans. In the round of 16, Inter Miami faced none other than European champions Paris Saint-Germain, coached by the mastermind Luis Enrique, the same Enrique who recently delivered PSG's first ever Champions League title. So when the Parisians lined up against their former star Messi, they had a score to settle, and they didn't hold back. The first half, a bloodbath. Even Inter Miami coach Javier Mascherano admitted all 4 PSG goals came in the opening 45 minutes, and Inter Miami crushed. A historic season for PSG where another glorious chapter was added.
I think it's clear that we're having a historic season at our club, and we intend to add to that in this competition. We're already in the quarter-finals, where there will only be 8 teams, and our goal is to try to go as far as possible.
And yet the spotlight wasn't on PSG. All eyes were on Messi. The stadium, a sea of pink, packed to the rafters. The crowd wasn't there for Paris. They were there for one player, and the Messi experience.
Very happy that PSG won. Also to see Messi is a grand opportunity.
Hey, look, it was beautiful. We lost 4-0. It was bad, but look, just listen. The stadium was pink. The stadium was pink.
I saw that estadio so full, and everybody want to see Messi, and that is the priority for everybody. See Messi.
And it wasn't just the fans feeling all the nostalgia either.
It was a very special match because I got to reconnect with people with whom I've shared many things, many successes, and also failures, which is normal in professional football, but it was an emotional match. I would say it was perfect to be able to greet the players before and after the match.
But behind all the hugs and the smiles, things got ugly. After the game, Messi was heavily taunted online. He was blamed for the loss, mocked for the scoreline, but not everyone joined in on the troll train. Enter Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The ex-Barcelona striker didn't hold back in his defense.
Messi's defeat? No, don't talk about the defeat as if it were his fault. Messi didn't lose, Inter Miami did. Have you seen the team? Messi plays with statues, not teammates. If he was in a real team, in Paris, Manchester, in any of the big teams, you'd have seen the real lion.
Messi plays with statues. Those are harsh words there, but that did not stop the storm from brewing. Messi has now been accused of throwing a punch at PSG midfielder Vitinha. From crowd adoration to controversy and criticism, this match had everything. A dominant PSG performance, Messi under fire, a potential disciplinary storm, a fan base that showed up not for a club, but for one person. For FIFA, this was gold dust. But now that Messi's out, what's left? A tournament built around a single superstar. That's the danger when you place all your bets on one person. FIFA built a castle on Messi's name, but one player can't save an entire kingdom. Now with Messi out, the Club World Cup has lost its crown jewel. Because now the question isn't who will win the tournament, it's become, will anyone still be watching? Time for last serve. This year's third Grand Slam Wimbledon is underway and London has been gearing up for the traditional slam. The city is dressed up as the buzz for the tennis event intensifies. Players are practicing under the blazing sun. Former champion Novak Djokovic is eyeing his 25th. And there is a lot of pressure on the top seeds to get their hands on the trophy. But we witnessed some fun and banter on the sidelines of all the tension when Djokovic decided to crash Sabalenka's pre-tournament presser. Guess copying her dance moves alone is not enough. Take a look. That wraps it up here on Firstpost. I'll of course see you again tomorrow. Till then, do take care. Bye-bye.